Hey, welcome to episode 15 of the Big Hurts Cappy Hour, a new-ish podcast where we talk about the baseball, the gear, and, of course, the most important thing, the baseball cap. I am your host, the Big Hurt, Allan Jepsen, former professional wrestler turned amateur men's league baseball player. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, Ernie Williams. And today we are lucky enough to have a guest all the way from the Lone Star State, the man behind the most talked about thing on our podcast, next to Ken Griffey and Barry Bonds.
You know what? 100%. That's a great way to. That's spot on.
Matt Hadden from Pioneer Fit. How are we doing today, Matt?
Man, I'm doing good. I appreciate you guys having me on here. I appreciate the opportunity to come talk about anything and everything with you guys.
Well, I'm sure you're roasting down there because I looked at the temperature today, and it is, 38 Celsius, 99 degrees Fahrenheit?
That's a pretty normal August day for us. Honestly, a little on the cool side. When it's not triple digits for us, it's not bad.
It's only 75 degrees Fahrenheit here, if that makes... you were here a couple weeks ago, so you knew all about it.
Jealousy abounds, for sure.
Yeah, we don't get that hot weather, and we did experience it a couple years ago when we were both in Houston. And then I was in Dallas and Arlington last year with my mom to watch more baseball.
Yep.
How do you deal with the heat on an everyday thing?
Just don't go outside. I'm lucky enough to not have to work outside. My shop does get hot. My guys and girls in the production area, we start early. We start at 6 o'clock and get out at 2.
Good.
Okay. We do have air conditioner in there, but it's still at 2 o'clock. It's about 90 degrees in the shop. But it starts out at 60 when you got the air conditioner running the whole time. So it's bearable. And then in the afternoon, it's unbearable. Like when that shop stops, when the air conditioners stop and the guys go home and we still have to go out there to check orders and stuff like that, it gets to be about 110 in that shop, and it's brutal. But we hunt the air conditioners. That's all we do down here, best we can.
That's unreal. I couldn't at Texas Rangers ballpark there. Was the first stadium I'd been to where there was air conditioning inside the stadium. Every other ballpark is either open air or... So that blew me away that was actually a thing. And we actually got the roof open when we were there, which is pretty rare.
I've never even thought of that as a thing, but that makes 100%.
Yeah.
The old Rangers ballpark in August was absolutely unbearable, especially if you had tickets in left field, dude. It had to be 130 degrees down there. It was unbearable. When Globe Life got built, we still live 150 miles from there, so we're 2.5 hours. We're still 2.5 hours from that's our closest big city, and dude, Globe Life is immaculate in comparison. Especially now, I haven't been to a whole bunch of ballparks, but it is beautiful, and it is sunny and 75 inside that thing in August. So
yeah, I walked by the old one there just because it is still there next door, and I just saw all the brick facade and everything, and it's gorgeous, and it still could be used for Major League Ball.
I believe they still play some college games there, don't they?
I think they play rugby there. I think there's something else now. It's not. I don't think it's baseball. Yeah, I think they play rugby. I don't know if it's soccer. I think it's rugby.
Either way, I just felt like the heat permeating off the side.
It's bad.
So I can't imagine them. I guess if it's rugby, they probably play in the fall, which might be a little bit cooler. So
yeah.
I mean, I still love it there. It was still a great time. So. As we start every single episode, we start with what cap are you wearing? And Ernie, let's start off with you.
Today, in honor of the great state of Texas, I'm wearing the Sugarland Space Cowboys, the AAA affiliate for the, unfortunately, Houston Astros. That's also a shot at Houston.
Yeah. All right, Matt, what hat are you wearing today?
Man, you guys caught me, like I said earlier. On an off day, I've got my nice hat on for you guys. So this hat is from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. I played golf throughout my entire childhood and into my adult years until really the kids kind of came around, had a back surgery. But golf was a huge part of my life. There's a floating green in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho that my family and I traveled up there a couple years back, and I bought a hat. And like I said, it's my nice hat now.
There you go.
Well, when you come back up here, we got a lot of nice golf courses up here in BC. So Whenever you make your way back up here, come play some golf. Especially,
and we'll have a hat for you.
Deal.
Definitely.
The
hat I went today is the old City Connect of the Texas Rangers. In my opinion, the better City Connect. I got this a couple years. I guess got this last year when I was at the ballpark. I really wish they would have stayed with this. I'm sure. What are your thoughts on the new City Connect versus the old one?
Man, I liked those better. I don't hate the new ones, but I did like, because I didn't really understand the Peagle, which, you know, obviously not being from the DFW area, I had to kind of like look it up and understand.
Isn't it a made up animal?
Yeah, it's some mythic creature. I'm not real sure how it like ties into the Arlington city history, but they didn't ask for my opinion whenever they did that. But I did think the jerseys themselves were cooler. I liked the navy and kind of creamish color more so than the red.
The best part for those City Connects was the rope piping on the pants.
Yeah,
that was unreal. And now, like I said, like we've talked about the City Connects at length here, and the new one is just kind of lazy and kind of looks like an old, like a college program, easy, does the trick kind of job.
I agree. It's so crazy how I assume that the MLB doesn't have like a design team that does all of them. I guess all of the teams kind of have their own design works, because like the Padres old City Connects, everybody loved those and they were really cool. And I think the new ones are really cool.
I love the new ones.
Yeah, some guys or some teams like really get it, and some teams are just like, man, that's not that great.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Baltimore's old one was not great. Their new one is much better.
The s'mores?
Yeah, the s'mores. Yeah.
And the one thing that bugs me the most, because you know we make belts, is that the belts are such an afterthought for all of these things. There's like they have like these really cool, well thought out things, and then a basic black belt that goes with them.
You know what? I'm glad you said that, because that's the perfect way to put it. It's an afterthought. It was always just something there to hold your pants up. Yeah. And now, as again, like we said, we're a couple of idiots finding out so. For our baseball team, the Jerks, we have stupid rules. If you forget something at the park, it's a beer fine, all that kind of stuff. And just until I think 2 years ago, if you wore the wrong color belt, we considered that a beer fine. Then I decided to do something stupid and get a $200 belt that didn't go with anything we have. So I got one of the absolutely ridiculous, the Miami Ice to two-tone, and I was like, no belt fines. We tried to push that. Now we got guys wearing green belts. We got guys wearing blue belts, and it's just, especially to see what you have done in the last handful of years and really come to the forefront of everything. Like, belts are such a key part of the outfit of the jersey,
especially those that. The City Connects, where you can tell a lot of time and effort were put into them. Lots of little tiny details and things like that. For it to just fall to the wayside, I think is a travesty. Obviously, it's a molehill in comparison to everything. But for me and my business and the people that that make these things with us, it's a big hill for us. So it does hurt a little bit whenever I see these awesome jerseys with a basic elastic belt that you bought from Champro or Dick's Sporting Goods or some really inexpensive thing.
$5 belt.
Yeah.
Now I know that because the City Connect they are released so late, obviously that's got to come into play with guys not being able to order it, but they do have a full season, so I don't understand why they don't catch up after the first time kind of thing. So.
I do think, and then maybe time in the game, these opportunities will come about. I do think, those jerseys are, maybe hush to the public, but they're going to be designed well before they're ever produced. And if we're a part of that design process, obviously we would have those belts produced before they ever came out. So there's an opportunity there. Obviously they, whoever they are, the people that design it would have to trust us and sign out NDAs and that kind of stuff. But it would be really cool to be a part of that process, because I do think it's overlooked.
So speaking of being a part of that process, are you affiliated at all with Major League Baseball, or are you just contacted through the players?
So we are not are not affiliated at all with MLB.
Okay.
From the best I can gather, I've spoken to the MLB to try to figure out how we can be officially licensed and those type of things. There is a long process, obviously. Players with a lot deeper pockets than we are. A lot, your Nikes, your Adidas, your all of the things that that are major sports. It would take millions of dollars, and we just don't. We will never have that. So to be like the official belt of the MLB may not be advantageous at all, regardless, because we'd have to sell so many of them.
Is that Nakona right now, or do they even have an official belt? Because they have the Nakona show belt, which was kind of the first. This is the expensive, nice leather belt you're going to find.
No, they actually pride themselves on being the unofficial belt of the
MLB.
So,
okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess we could say we were the unofficial belt too. Like it does, but that was, and it wasn't them that said it. I think it was like What Pros Wear, or some other big Instagram page. I think kind of did that, and then they hooked onto that and latched onto it and used that a little bit for their advertising. But they started. I think they started doing belts. Obviously, Nakona's been around for literally 100 years.
Yeah.
But belts, I think, have only been around for six or seven, maybe.
Yeah.
And they've done a good job in the 6 or 7 years. I think for the beginning, part of it was probably all very basic. I don't remember ever seeing any cool belts on baseball players up until really 2.5 years ago. We kind of started pushing the envelope, and I think probably putting the feet to the fire. And they've actually gotten really a lot better at what they do as far as what I would consider cool.
Right.
But they're not affiliated. They've just been in it long enough that I think a lot of people know them, and obviously a lot of people use them.
Because I mean, it's one of those things, like on the side belt loops, you can see that they're kind of little metal O, and Nakona is the part that stands out the most for somebody like myself who's going to notice that. Yeah. And then that's what gets people looking into it. So
it's definitely one of those things where we don't put our logo on the belts. So we kind of pride ourselves on letting people buy their belts, not our belts, so that we want them to be able to essentially build these belts however they want them to look.
Right.
Obviously, if they want to put our logo on there, there's an option for them to be able to do so. But a lot of people, from what I can gather, and this is probably outside of MLBs, I don't want to speak for them. This is going to be more so on the weightlifting side, which is what our bread and butter is, and what we've been doing for 50 years. People want the individuality of the belt themselves. If somebody wants to spend $350, they don't want to have plastered logo of something they don't necessarily want on there.
100%.
And we've kind of really grasped onto that. And regardless, I don't know if it's a good business move right now. It seems like, having that logo on there, especially on TV, people would be like, ooh, wonder what Pioneer is. It's definitely a different game. And we're still trying to figure this out, because obviously powerlifting is a very small niche market in comparison to Major League Baseball or baseball in general. So, I do think brand awareness is one thing that we probably need to put more of a priority of ours. We do have a patented staggered hole design. So
I love that.
I was gonna say the one sure way to know that if we made the belt is that front part. If those holes look weird, if there's two different lines, inline holes, those are from us, and it is patented. And that's what I've been trying to convey as our brand or our logo, is that patent, because it.
Smart.
I mean, if it's on a black belt, you can't really see it, but any light colored belt, it definitely stands out. People are like, wonder why there's got so many holes on there. And
I'm not gonna lie, I had to look that up. I was very curious, and like you said, that was one of those things that you noticed that you're like, hey, that's different. And speaking of which, where did that idea for the half size hole come from? Because everyone has bought belts. They try it on, it's too loose. They try it on, it's too tight, and they're ending up hammering a hole through it themselves.
So it started in weightlifting. In weightlifting, it matters probably even more so than just around your waist, because your belly expands a lot more than just around your hips do. So honestly, it was a lot of reviews, women, weightlifting women, they're bloated, and I just can't get a belt that fits right in this thing. So I had a friend of mine who actually came up with, why don't we just do a single row of holes and then just overlap it, and then we'll make the prong be able to move up and down on the buckle. And man, it worked really, really well. And I remember throwing it up on social media, and it got like 100,000 views. And at that time, I think maybe we got that patented about 10 years ago. So at that time, we may have had 50,000 followers or something on Instagram. And when we posted that, it went like mega viral in like 30 minutes. And I took everything down, and I was like, dude, we've got something going here, and maybe we don't even know how important it is. So at that point, we got a hold of patent lawyers and tried to do everything the right way, and we were able to secure that patent. A couple years in, that's just how long it takes to get. And and we were able to. The language of that patent is able to use any size belt. So now, like all of our dress belts, and now obviously baseball belts have that same feature. And it's one of those things. It seems ridiculous until you've got a belt that just doesn't fit right, and these ones they really do. Is as small as it sounds, it really does make a difference on how well your belt fits and have the traditional look.
As a bigger guy, those half sizes, it does make a huge difference. So it's good to hear. And where did your light just go, Ernie?
I think I just had a power surge.
Okay.
You guys saw that, obviously, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell is going on over here now,
though. So yeah, before we got going today, I asked you a few questions and got you to send over a few photos. And you said this was the first baseball belt you did, I believe, which was this one here. Tell us a little about this one.
So Stephen Kolick, he was a pitcher at the Pirates. Now he's with the Royals. He just had to. I think I know he's on the IL, about to have Tommy John surgery. So a cousin of ours played baseball with him at Texas A&M. Obviously, he got drafted, made his way up to the Padres, not organization, but the big league club. And man, we were trying to exhaust resources to figure out how to get our hands in professional baseball players' hands, so that we can figure out what they like, what they don't like, how they wear their belts, what they, whatever they're looking for. And we were able to get him in his hands, and obviously, I know this is not obvious, but he really enjoyed them and has worn nothing but our stuff since. He enjoyed, obviously, the look of those belts are very different from any other belts that are out there. Obviously, the bottom one is
that crocodile?
Alligator.
Oh, alligator.
Yeah, it's alligator. Yeah. And then the one above, the very top one, is a water buffalo, and then the middle one's a Horween, which is a super high-end veg-tanned bovine, just cow leather. But all three of those were probably, I don't want to say they were the first ones, because I'm assuming that there's alligator belts in there, but they were the first ones that Steven had ever seen, and he really enjoyed them. And then a lot of the Padres from that point moving forward, we were able to pick up quite a few of those guys. And that's kind of how it's worked, is one guy takes a chance on us, and then a lot of the other guys do too. So it's been a really cool wildfire type approach.
Word of mouth is gonna go pretty quick around clubhouses and when there's a good product, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's exactly what it was. We were able to get the belts in the hands of a few guys, and it turned into quite a few guys.
Now, what is the average turnaround? I know that you guys have done a couple big sales that have kind of backed things up quite a bit, and I know at the beginning of baseball season, probably it's nuts. But what is your guys' average turnaround?
So right now it's really not bad. Baseball. So we've separated it in our production. So we've got obviously our main portion of the business is weightlifting. So most of our guys are working on weightlifting stuff.
For sure.
Baseball, we have 3 dedicated people making all the baseball belts, including myself. So it'd be 4 if I'm out there and 3 if I'm not. Which is, it doesn't seem like much, and it's not much, but we can pump out some belts. So right now, to answer your question, we're running at about 2 to 3 weeks if it's super custom. If it's basic, it's less than that. Most of that time you're waiting is just waiting for us to get the belts out of the queue, essentially. So we, if you were to place an order right now, I've got 300 belts I got to make before I get to yours. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the waiting period.
Now, waiting period aside, how long does it take to make a belt? Obviously, depending on the intricacies of the customization and all that kind of stuff.
So if it's a basic belt from the entire cut and sew, so essentially what we do is we cut a belt out of a piece of leather. We run it through splitters. We got to cut, whether it's patent leather on the outside and suede on the inside, or garment leather on the inside, whatever the layers of the leather is. We cut those all to size. We glue them all together. We press them together. We punch holes in all of them. We run it through a skiving machine, and that kind of gets the belt to the shape that everybody's used to seeing.
Okay.
And then we either laser it or we, embroider it, whatever the case is there. Then we paint the edges by hand and put a buckle on it, or we'll sew it and put a buckle on it and then ship it. So grand total, if it's a basic belt without any customizations, it takes about 40 minutes or so to make a belt.
That's what?
Yeah, it's not a crazy amount of time, and to be honest with you, we'll get faster with that because
Can you get faster than that? That's crazy. That's awesome.
Obviously, we've I don't want to say we've perfected it, but we've done a lot of belts. We've averaged somewhere in the 60,000 belts a year. This is powerlifting side, the weightlifting side, 60,000 belts a year for the last 50 years. So we have machines that help us do the gluing process faster, and we've got machines that punch the holes all at one time, and we're not having to do them all by hand. So it's not old world belt making. It's definitely a new school, with some, obviously the twist that nobody else really is able or capable of doing. Custom stuff doesn't really ever come from China. Because it's not custom. It's all, they can do 500 of them, but they won't do one.
Right, exactly.
So yeah, it's 40 minutes or so is probably top of the line. If it's just a basic leather belt, it could probably be done in 10 to 15 minutes.
That's crazy. I was expecting to hear an answer of like 4 days, because there was going to be like curing time and all that kind of. That's what I was kind of expecting. But again, that's very naive of me to think, maybe. But I honestly have no idea.
So I don't know if you saw on our Instagram post today. I did a belt, the belt for Jared Duran.
Yes, we did.
So just embroidery on that machine, or on that belt, I had 5 different hoops, and all of them were 56 minutes apiece. So I mean, we're talking, we had a considerable amount of time. Probably with all of the stop and goes and the changing of bobbins and that kind of thing, we probably had closer to 7 hours worth of embroidery alone on that belt.
Wow.
And then we take care of those belts a little bit. So that 40 minutes it was to make the belt probably jumped to 55 to 60 minutes to make that belt, just to make sure that we didn't screw that one up, so that we didn't waste the 7 hours of
go back and
time.
do it again. Yeah. We have a teammate, Wade, who is now the biggest, air quotes there, Jared Duran fan. So I know I sent that to him right away. Allan, I assume you did.
Not yet, but it was on my.
That was a beautiful, absolutely cool. Beautiful belt.
Yeah. So we tried to mimic the Bruce Bolt collab he just did with his gloves.
With the second run of them.
Yeah, and we did one earlier with the black with the gray ha-has, and this one with the purple and the dark purple. I was like, man, I've got a material that looks really close to that color. We can do this really close. And he's like, yeah, man, sure, I'll wear it. So texting Jared, if you're not a fan of Jared, you should be. He's a really, really good dude. I know that he gets dragged through the mud a lot. And it's a really unfortunate. Not really, Jared doesn't need me to defend him, but this is just in general of all baseball players. Like, if we do a collaborative post with not even our guys, but somebody else's guys, they'll shoot a DM and be like, that guy's trash. He needs to, not necessarily kill himself and stuff, but like just ugly things. And you're like, dude, you don't know these people. These guys are trying. I promise they're not out there trying to make you lose $5 on your parlay. Like it's just, it's really strange to see grown men be so mad at a 25-year-old trying his best to hit a baseball. It really does throw me off some. And I wouldn't ever be defending a professional athlete. They make a bunch of money, I get all that stuff, but like, now that I've been able to experience it, these dudes are all super nice guys. Like, they're all just regular down-to-earth dudes, and then just to be bombarded by strangers is just, I know they're on a pedestal because of where they're at in their career, but at the same time, like, there's got to be some decency and humanity in baseball.
100%, especially what he did for men's mental health a couple years ago, and coming out and explaining his story and what he goes through and is still going through. I mean, because he flipped somebody off in the stands, he's the bad guy, but the guy who told him to go off himself gets away scot-free. Like, people have to hold some accountability. You pay your ticket, but just be a good person.
It's a level of strength that a lot of men don't have, to be able to sit there and be vulnerable in front of millions of people like that. And not only that, I mean, he's just a regular dude. He's a really good dude, and all of these guys are, man. I've been super blessed to be able to talk with these guys, not necessarily in a super deep fashion, but be able to just actually kind of get to know them on a personal level. And man, I don't know of any of them that are like jerks, like you would think. Like, I always had this idea of professional athletes just kind of being jerks. And, I always heard, don't meet your heroes and these kind of things. And there is probably some smart, some wisdom to that. At the same time, you can tell on the other side of these guys, especially in their locker rooms, man, they're just like one of us. Like, if any three of us were in the professional, if we were in the Boston Red Sox locker room, we would act just like those guys. It's they're just humans. They're just regular dudes.
And not even that. It's like you said, he's 25 years old.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how old is. He's not old.
He's a kid, let's call it 25. I mean, like you said, he's a kid, right? Like, I'm a 41-year-old man, and that's more of a thing with courage that he showed than I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
Right? Like, good for him. And I think I think you're right. He seems like one of those dudes that would be just a good dude to go hang out with. I'm biased because I was never a Red Sox fan until we went to Fenway last year, and just feeling that aura. But there's always been people on that team that I wanted to hate because they were Red Sox. Yeah. And if they're on another team, I'd love them. Jaron Duran, one of those guys. Not that I hate him.
Sure. I got you. No, I think that's how it was. You guys asked me via email what my favorite team was, and it's like, I want to say the Rangers because they're proxy, right? They're the closest ones. If I get to go to a game with my kids, it's usually the Rangers because it's the closest.
Right.
And obviously we were there for their World Series run, and it was an amazing experience to kind of see a team who I'd watched growing up because I lived here win that and able to do that, and that was really, really cool. But now that we're selling belts, like, I'm super loyal to the guys that are loyal to us. So that's that. Like, I didn't have an answer for my favorite team because I wanted to be, my favorite team is whoever these guys are using our stuff and trusting us is who I trust and root for.
So your favorite team is your team.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
As it should be. You sent over a bunch of your favorites. We do a segment each week we call the Hurt Locker. Where we showcase some gear from different fashions, and we went through and chose our favorites out of the photos. There was so many to choose from. We had to try and narrow it down to 5 each. Oh no,
don't
that's
be sorry.
okay.
We get to look at more stuff that way.
Most of our Instagram back and forth is sending photos of the belts you guys create. So.
Awesome.
So here we are. Which one are we starting with? I believe.
I know we've had issues with this before, but Matthew, you can see what is being shown on the screen, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Juan Soto's City Connect belt.
I love this belt.
So this is someone that actually put some thought into the City Connect and actually, got a proper belt for it. And it's a beauty.
So we tried to incorporate all of the design aspects from the City Connect. They'll show a picture and then have a bunch of little pictures inside that picture of all the different aspects and what they mean. So obviously you can't zoom in there, but if you were to, the little shapes for the pinstripes are all of the trains that go into City Field. Obviously you got the Brooklyn Bridge that was on the bridge of the hat. And then you've got his name and his number in that same font that they use.
I love that font.
With that, I don't know what I would call that, fluorescent purple type, neon purple, whatever that color is. I think there's a significance to that color. It might be a train, something like that. But we just tried to mimic their City Connects as closely as we could, and man, it turned out really well. And Juan's one of those guys that's been super loyal for the last couple of years. I think he's pretty much exclusively worn Pioneer stuff. I talk to him very rarely on Instagram. He'll answer every once in a while, like, hey man, I need a few belts, that kind of thing, or he'll share a story every once in a while. But he's I think if he was on the podcast with this, I think he'd be like, oh yeah, you guys' belts are awesome.
You can give him a call if you want. Like,
if I had his number, I don't have his number. He did give me permission. He said, man, your belts are the best out there. And I screenshotted it and I sent it to him. I was like, man, do you care if I use this quote? And he's like, oh yeah, go for it. So I've kind of plastered that as much as I could without, Scott Boris calling me and telling me that I'm in trouble. But
it's funny that you say that because I love how you did the same thing with, I believe it was Soderstrom's wife from the Athletics. And you're like, hey, can I use this? Because she wanted to surprise him with his belt. And I love that. I thought that was awesome.
And a lot of times the guys, I do think there are probably some that are more protective of their NIL, right, using their name for product and stuff, but they would be shocked at how little money we make. We are not rolling in Benjamins over here, so it's not like they're losing out on a whole big cut. I think that's one thing. If I was able to talk to some, if they were upset about me using their name, which we don't. Like, if you ever see a static post, it's never with a player. Usually it's just resharing posts or resharing stories And that was at an advice of a the MLB lawyers essentially.
Oh, okay.
I mean, social media you can reshare. That's kind of what social media is about. It's whenever you do a static post and you try to make them wearing the belt like you're somehow affiliated with them. That's the problem. So we never do that. So a lot of times, like, our Pioneer Belts page is kind of ran through the stories to show who all's wearing them.
Right.
But yeah, that belt was fun. That was the first City Connect, and now I think Vientos, man, there was quite a few guys that got a belt just like that.
I love the bridge across the front. I think that's awesome too.
Yeah. There was quite a few people guys that saw that and thought, "Ooh, I want some of those."
Now here's awesome.
I assume these are Dominguez.
They were for last year. This is not this year's belts. Those were super fun. So he gave me his logo, and a lot of times these guys are like, just to make something cool, and I'm like, oh man, I don't even know where to go with this. So,
that's what I was curious about is how much they give you freedom to just take an idea and run with it.
So Jason did not give me much of anything. I knew that El Marciano, the Martian, I knew I had his logo. I was able to communicate with Jason a little bit through Instagram and then also through his agent. And I think his agent honestly was just like, bright colors and make it cool. And I'm like, great, I'll do my best.
Perfect,
and that's what we came up with. And man, they did really turn out really good. To be honest with you, this was last year. I was really nervous when these things started kind of popping up that MLB was going to be like, all right, guys, we got to tap the brakes on the crazy belts, because there were some crazy ones. Last year was probably even more so crazy than this year. Rob at the Yankees pretty much put a stop to all the really crazy belts. Like Jazz and some of those guys had some really crazy ones. So it's not just the Yankees. So don't. The Angels. When we went to winter meetings, the dude was like, they can have any belt they want as long as it's red. And I was like, cool. So. It was one of those things that I do think that there are some clubbies that are like, yeah, man, these guys can do whatever they want. And some clubbies are like, no, they need to be team colors, 75% team colors. So Jason Dominguez had some really wild ones. He had some cool ones this year, too.
All right, the next one up, we have...
I was
hoping you would give these ones, yeah.
I love all the ones Wilson does. He got some... this is William. I love all the stuff he does, especially with his Jordan stuff, man.
So the coolest part about this is William is one of those guys too that he gave me the logos. I texted him and I was like, man, what do you want on these? He was like, I don't care. He liked the sparkle. He said that he liked the sparkle, and he said, just do whatever you want. So little William, the little dude that's holding those three belts, my youngest biological kid, was actually with me and picked out all of the colors. And essentially, I don't want to say, I mean, I helped him drive a little bit, but he was the driving factor in every one of Williams' belts so far in the last 2 years. He's been the one to do it.
Yeah, no, I love these ones. I love, like, all 7 of them. I love the colors. I love the beer one in the middle.
I didn't even realize that was a beer one until right now.
Yep.
That makes sense.
And the sparkle is a big thing that obviously guys are doing with shoes a lot this year. So the belts go with it perfect. I mean, it's the perfect combo with if the guys are getting custom shoes, like why not match the belt, right?
Yeah. We did one last year. Josh Naylor, Naylor's was not the first one. O'Neal Cruz had a black sparkle belt last year that didn't get near the attention. But when Naylor wore the sparkly blue, like icy blue shoes and the sparkly icy blue belt at the same time, and I think they were pretty deep, not necessarily in the playoffs, but like just deep in the season, about to make the playoffs, or maybe it was the whatever the divisional series was, maybe. But ESPN or whoever was doing the announcing then like zoomed in on it and had a 10 or 15 second kind of talk about that belt, and it kind of sparked on. I don't know if Williams saw that or if maybe that's just where it was, because I don't want to say it went viral either, but a lot of the pro guys saw those, and William was like, yeah, I like the sparkle. So that's kind of where that came from.
Yeah, Naylor has like 100 pair of custom shoes too, so it doesn't surprise me that he matches his belts with it all.
There's a funny story about him. So when he got to Seattle, his agent texted me and was like, dude, Josh is asking about belts before he's asking about where he's going to live, like what apartment he's going to be in. So it was kind of cool to be like, all right, well, he obviously thinks these are pretty important, so we need to make it. And I don't even know if I sent you his belts. He had a really cool lineup last year too.
That's priorities right there. That's priorities.
I'm a Mariners fan, so I've definitely seen his belts and his shoes and everything else. So
Yeah.
I love to see it, and would love to see his shoe closet at some point too.
Man.
So I'm assuming these are Gleyber Torres and summer for the World Baseball Classic, and then summer for regular season would be my guess here. Or
So no, these are all regular season belts. He did do WBC belts this year, but these are not them. These would have been from last year. I really liked the tiger striped ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Gleyber is a super cool dude too. I talk to him pretty often, and he likes the belts. He's like, man, just make them cool. You know what I like at this point. Like I know that Glaber's not going to wear a hot pink belt, but he'll wear a loud navy blue, or a loud orange with navy blue tiger stripes on it. So, yeah, that gray one that you can't really see on the right hand side there, that's actually a python belt. The bottom one's navy python, and then that one on the left, the full picture of the left, the right belt on the left picture is also a python belt. The rest of them are obviously late. Well, actually, that orange one on the left side, the far left side, is also python. So he's an exotic guy.
I could see that. I could see that. I do love his logo too. I think I've always liked his logo. It's nice and simple.
Clean.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
all right. Let's see what we got next.
So
we got bright, loud, and I love all of it. So.
Yeah. So obviously we've got two different guys here. The one on the left there, that's William's newest belts. Those are the belts that William, my son, and my wife and I flew up to Denver to give these belts to William in person when they played the Rockies.
Oh, that's cool.
That was super meaningful to us as a family. But yeah, my son did both of those ones as well. And now the ones on the right, cooler story there. We met Lawrence at a CAA activation event last spring training, and he was by far the coolest, most outgoing, outspoken, as you probably could imagine.
He seems like he's a beauty.
Yeah, he really is a super fun, cool dude. And I was able to exchange phone numbers with him. He was like, "Dude, make me fire, make me ice, make me, just like kind of like make me music, make me all sorts of different, like gave me themes to run with."
Oh, okay.
And that's what we did. And yeah, he had a pretty impressive lineup last year, and so far again this year he's got some really cool ones this year too.
I love that one for Law Dogs on the far right with the purple, the pink, the teal, the baby blue, all that kind of stuff. I think that just is unreal.
Man, I wish I would have sent you the picture of the full belt so that you could see that one. I'll find it and I'll text you guys.
We'll just have to have you on another time for another set. So, what do we got?
So on average, if somebody says just make me a bunch, like there was 6 or 7 belts there for Butler, how many belts do they get in a year?
That's a good question. So, Guriel Lourdes here on the right, he was pretty methodical the last 2 seasons spring trainings. He knew that he had all of the alternate uniforms, the aways, the homes. He knew exactly what he wanted. So he was very involved in what he wanted them to look like. And I appreciate that because I know that they'll be happy if we're able to deliver exactly what they want. It's always much more difficult whenever they're like, "Oh, just make it cool." I'm like, "Well, my version of cool may not be yours." But anyways, most of the guys when they start are more like Guriel than any. So like William or Wilson. Wilson has a really cool lineup this year. The Contreras brothers. They usually get 6 to 7 at the beginning, and then they'll fill in as the year goes on. So Wilson and William aren't doing a whole lot of head sliding like PCA or Jaron.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or Arenado. Some of those guys, some of those guys don't slide as much maybe as they used to. So their belts, last a little bit longer. But I would say on average, from us, at least from my experience, dudes are using somewhere between 6 and 10 belts a year.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's not because they
I mean,
have
I
to.
would if I
think
could. Don't get me
I
wrong.
think it's definitely not because they have to. The belts are not breaking or anything. They'll you're talking about head sliding on dirt, and it just kind of looks grungy over time.
Well, I mean, that's the thing with those $8, $10 belts with the elastic, right? That leather is barely leather, and
dude,
you slide it and it snaps, and then you got to buy a new one anyway. So
Yeah.
So one of the craziest and most hurtful quotes of spring training this year, one of the clubbies said that the Champro belts, that all of the elastic belts are all from a company called Champro, and they're super inexpensive. The guy was like, "Man, they're the best belts that we buy." And I was like, "Why? What makes them so good?" They're $4, and I don't care if they break. That was the. I was like, "Crap! I mean, I can't. I got $4 in the buckle alone in my belts. I can't. I'm never going to be able to compete." But no, they serve their purpose. They keep their pants up. I mean, that's really all they do. But they're not leather. They're an injection mold plastic or rubber type material, so which makes it really, really inexpensive. The one on the left there is Jaron Duran's Stay Alive belt. So obviously that's men's mental health awareness ribbon.
And that's the phone number, correct?
Yeah, the 988 is the suicide hotline. That looks like the printed version and not the original. So the original I have in my office. We sent that to him. He hit an inside the park home run, maybe his first one.
Okay.
And then went to the dugout, took it off, got it authenticated, and sent it back to me.
Oh, that's
so it's super. Yeah, it's super, super special. What I want to do at some point is auction it off and then give it to his charity, whatever money we're.
Oh, that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah. So, and that's really what I want to do at some point. Is, if I'm gifting belts to people in the MLB, I want them at some point. I'll gather the courage to ask them face to face, like, hey, I want you to send those back, get them authenticated, and send them back, and we'll put them up for auction, and we'll send whatever charity. Because a lot of those, a lot of the big name dudes have their own foundations and stuff.
Of course.
The belt doesn't go in the trash, and it helps you guys. And so it's just all about reciprocation of support. I think it'd be a really cool idea. It's one of those things that I haven't got off the ground yet, but it's definitely on my desire list.
I think that's like I said, I think that's a great idea. Speaking of which, do you have a lot of belts that get returned to you, signed and up in the office or anything like that?
No. I wish I did. So, and that's one of those things. I don't personally care. My kids would think it'd be really cool.
Oh,
Roman Anthony, out of the blue, I sent him a couple of belts. He's been wearing our stuff since he was down with the Woo Sox or whatever they are, the AAA. We sent him some belts down there, and then we sent him some belts when he got the call up. And man, out of the blue, he asked, what my kids' names were, and I was like, that's kind of strange. So I told him, dude, I got a box in the mail, and he sent me a pair of cleats and a signed bat, all for the kids. Like, you make the best belts,
That's cool.
Good. Yeah, and I was like, man, that's really, really neat. Obviously this dude, I had never spoken to him in real life. We've talked on the phone a couple times. We obviously got his specs and what he needed for a belt, and then he did that for the kids, and that's one thing I'll never forget. I'm obviously one of his biggest fans now just because of that.
Absolutely,
that's a pretty cool story.
That's a cool little touch that he obviously doesn't have to do and chose to do. So, that's awesome. These were, where did the screen go there?
On the right?
So the one on the right is Lindor's. It says Mr. Smiles on the back.
Yeah.
Really cool story. This one, the guy who invented the Pioneer Cut, my buddy that kind of gave the idea. His son at the time was 5. And they live in New York, and they're huge Mets fans. And he designed this belt. And this was one that Lindor did not know he was getting. We shipped this one blind in hopes that he would get it.
Cool.
At the time, we were working with Luis Angel Acuna and Vientos, and I got traded to the.
He went to the Padres.
Because
you can see the oh my god there.
Yeah.
Why am I having a brain fart?
Iglesias.
Jose Iglesias.
There you go.
So we were kind of working with them, and we sent it to one of them, and they gave it to Lindor, and he wore it out during their little playoff run, and he hit a grand slam. Dude, this belt was on the front page of the New York Times, and
Wow.
it was super, super cool. I mean, it was obviously on Lindor hitting the grand slam, but for me, it was like, man, the belt's front of the page.
Do you keep those articles at
I've
all?
got it blown up.
Yeah,
I've got it blown
there
up
you go.
that one was
Like
cool.
New York Times, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Dre Jameson, his shoes, he's gotten, I don't want to say famous, but he's well known for his kicks. He had some Toy Story shoes and needed a Woody one, and then not pictured as the Buzz Lightyear one, but the Woody one was by far the coolest. We used real denim.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
I think that belt loop is actual cowhide. There's a boot strap on there. There's a lot of little details on there to try and match Woody's essence, I guess. And it was really cool. The hard thing that I haven't been able to come up with is really showcasing all of the cool little things that go into some of these belts on Instagram.
Because unfortunately, at the end of the day, it's still a belt and it's so small, so all your detail is going to be so much smaller that only so much can pick up, I assume.
Yeah, and to be honest, it's only super special to the wearer.
Exactly.
Right? Nobody else is going to really think it's that cool, but Dre loved it. And Dre has, I think, only bought belts from us for the last 3 years, and I think it really stemmed from this was maybe the first one that we did for him.
No, that one's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I got to go find his cleats after this.
Cool.
And this one here is one that we both chose. Absolutely, just a gorgeous belt. So.
Dude, this was an A10 Warthog design that I brought over from the weightlifting side. I had done this design multiple times over there, but I never did it on silver. So I was like, man, this is going to look really cool. It's going to look more like a missile than the actual, the A10 Warthog. I really think that the staggered holes kind of look like bullet holes to me, so I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
We were able to come up with Dylan Cruz's logo there on the loop. I had one of my guys that I use for our logos and some of the things that we do. He was able to develop that logo. The Cruz missile. I'm not sure Dylan actually wore this belt. I think he was pretty nervous about having missile.
I could see that
on his belt. So I don't know if it was ever actually game worn, but he did wear all of the other ones that we sent him. He had about, I don't know, probably 9 or 10 there for the Nationals. So
it also kind of sucks for him because his nickname, or what would be on the belt, Cruise Missile, is also screamed across the broadcast of the Pirates when O'Neill Cruz hits a dinger.
I know.
So,
yeah.
Is on the inside, is that purple?
It is.
It is. Okay. Yeah.
Don't ask me why. I don't remember.
All right.
Don't remember why I put purple on. I assume there was a reason for that, but I do not remember drawing a blank.
I like it.
No, those are just some of them. I wish I could have showcased them all, but we would be here for hours if we did. And
I did send them.
We would be okay with that, but we don't want to take that much of your time.
But actually, he actually posted the fact that you asked for a bunch, and he posted it on his Instagram, so you could see all 40 belts that he sent.
Exactly. Yeah. So one thing we do love about your guys' website is just like the old Nike ID stuff where you could just go and create your own stuff. We went ahead and decided to make our own. Just for fun. Ernie went with our team logo, our team colors, and stuff like that, and I went with Uncrustables because
we're idiots.
Love it.
So that's we'll do this once every few weeks when we get another dumb idea like this. I used to do this on Nike all the time, where we go and just create custom cleats, little Franklin with the custom batting gloves and things like that. So that is such a good little touch that you guys have on your website. That is, something that the other companies really don't have a chance to match that.
It's almost too many options because you change one thing and you're like, oh, I got to go back because this will look better with this, and then this. Oh, well, now I want this kind of stitching instead. It's fantastic.
It is difficult because there's so much that it's really, really hard to. That gives a bit of a visual, but the website's not near as capable as we are in the shop. So if anybody listens to this and they want something that the website's unable to do, just shoot us a message and we can do mock-ups and do those kind of things.
It is also
outside of the website.
It is also very easy to use on the website. It's very straightforward. It's easy, simple to follow along with. Like I said, though, with all the options, and when you have to go back and change something, easy peasy.
Good.
So, a question I did have for you is: are your boys' teams the most outfitted teams in their leagues?
Yeah, I mean, I did not make the littlest kid's team a belt. You should have seen him though. He was the Yankees, and he had a gold sparkle belt and a black sparkle belt.
Nice.
So he was dripped out as a six. I think he was 5 at the time. I guess whenever he first started, he was only 5, playing 8U. So he was obviously. He was a spectacle to see because he was so much littler than everybody else. And then he had those crazy loud belts. But all 3 of the other boys, their entire teams had custom belts. Yeah,
That's awesome.
That's such a
good.
exactly.
That's right.
I noticed on Instagram today you posted a story of PCA on a card.
Yeah.
Do you collect the cards when you see the belts on there? Or is that just a new thing that you just saw today?
So, man, how did the card? I've got literally right above me. I've got boxes and boxes of cards when I was a kid, and then that love for that went away for a long time. Didn't watch baseball. Didn't do much of anything while I was trying to raise the kids, trying to get the business off the ground, all the things. But when we started doing baseball stuff, and I started seeing some of those, like I think Lindor's Grand Slam, I remember it got on a baseball card, and I was like, dude, I got to have that card. Then I kind of got reintroduced to Topps Now, and now I'm on there quite a bit. I've got quite a few cards. I've got an entire book now of guys wearing Pioneer belts. So it's been a really cool. My kids love doing it. I love doing it with them. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, I know.
The resurgence of card collecting in the last couple of years. It's
all
so
of us
cool.
that when we were kids. Now we've got adult money finally. And
Exactly.
and we've got our kids that are with us. Like it's one of those things that it's definitely. I felt like at least it went away, and now it's back, and it's really back. Mike,
When the Pokemon cards came back, that's kind of what jump started it again, almost.
Yeah. My son, one of my twins, I think we bought him like a $20 pack at Walmart. Dude, he pulled an $8,000 Shohei Ohtani card. It's sitting in my safe. Like it's just like it was like we got it PSA. It was a PSA 10. It's one of those things that I put it into ChatGPT and it was like, man, this is a $15 card. Great find. And then I had a buddy of mine look at it that was a big card collector, and it was in my folder because I knew it was kind of cool and it was something different than any of the other cards I saw. And he's like, dude, that card might be worth something. And he put it in the PSA app, which I didn't even have at the time. And he was like, I'll give you $800 for that card right now. I was like, whoa, what's it worth? He showed it, and he's like, there was one on eBay for like $13,000. I was like,
it's when you hide your thumb on one of the zeros.
Yeah, so that was really cool, and I don't really remember that as a kid. I remember, dude, that might be worth like snacks for a week or something like that. Your desserts from lunch for a week, but never $8,000. So
I remember my dad had hockey cards when I was growing up, and he had like 5 or 6 like Wayne Gretzky rookie cards. I remember he sold them off, and there was like a big thing that he sold one for like $400, and this is in the early '90s, and we thought that was crazy. Now you hear the prices of some of these cards, and it's just nuts.
I wish I could go back sometimes and tell but hey, that Michael Jordan rookie card you have, hold on to that one, buddy.
He's going to be good.
You should not trade that for your favorite basketball player.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I just kind of started getting back into it, and I decided to finally pick my lane, which is going to be Ken Griffey Jr. cards being my favorite player. So that I still love the thrill of just opening a random pack, though.
Yeah.
So that's part of the problem with the collecting of it is the thrill of that. But I'm thinking I'm going to try and stay in my own lane here and just find Griffey cards over time now.
I've gotten to the point where I bought a $70 Jaron Duran card that was a orange refractor or whatever it was, the Pioneer, but and unfortunately I mailed it to him and he signed it and mailed it back and it got lost in the mail. So now I've got to find another one of those cards and then maybe I'll just hand it to him in person and get to autograph it instead of the mail service. So but yeah, the cards have been a really cool thing for my kids and myself.
That's a great story.
Do you have a dream collab that a player or a team or a company that you want to work with?
all of the, if there was dreams to be had, baseball has been so new to me that all of this kind of feels like a bit like a dream. Like I never thought that I'd have 50 MLB players that I could shoot a text off and ask them if they needed anything from us. Those kind of things that are, as a kid, I would have never thought it would be possible. So the connection that I've been able to, the relationship that I've been able to acquire with some of these players has been really cool. And it's not necessarily because they're professional athletes, it's just because they're cool dudes. We were able to do belts for the Yankees for the 4th of July. That kind of felt like a dream. Like the entire team got belts made from us, and they wore it during the 250th anniversary of America. You got the New York Yankees wearing their stuff. Like that was pretty dreamy if there was a thing there. Company-wise, we've done some super cool collabs with Bruce Bolt for the All-Star game last year. I thought it was really cool. And
I love what you did with the All-Star game this year. With the belt loop with everybody's how many times they were All-Stars and all that.
It was classy and not super loud. Kind of did the thing with the big star up front. Obviously I'm super biased, right? I'm bitter that all of those guys aren't wearing our own stuff. I personally thought it was too much. There's probably a lot of people that thought it was really cool, and that's perfectly fine. But yeah, I thought those turned out really well. I wanted to utilize their normal team colors on all the accents, but kept it with that white and silver. They turned out classic. Hopefully we can come up with another cool idea next year for those kind of things. But I just want to make sure, as far as like collaboration stuff, I just want to make people happy with what we do. Like I want them to trust in the product that we make and be happy to be wearing it because it represents what they love to do and what they love outside of what they do for a job. So,
and I think obviously you've shown to at least a handful of guys that are confident enough with just sending you a text saying, have at it, make me this, and this, go. I think that speaks volumes in itself. So I think that's kind of one of those compliments that's not really a compliment, but just that trust factor. And I think that just, again, shows the product and what they think of it.
It's definitely one of those things where we're able to keep our heads up high knowing that we're doing something right. Or these guys would find somebody else, because that's what a professional athlete would do. If you're trying to get some sort of advantage of any sort, you're going to go that route because it's, if it gives you a one up on the next guy, you're going to take it because you're already at the top and you need every bit of help you can get. And them, consistently coming back to us for that, it is really cool. And it is one of those things that we take pride in.
So now that you don't have to say which one it is, but off the top of your head, do you have that one belt that stands out above them all that you're like, that's my clear favorite belt that I've made? Or are they all just so little bit different that you can't put your finger on one?
So
because they're all special.
I had this conversation with my wife. I was like, they're going to ask me what my favorite belt is. I know. and she knows that I'm terrible at picking favorites. But she said, it's nothing more annoying if somebody gets on a podcast and never picks a favorite. So I've got to pick one. Man, I think the most iconic belt has got to be... It's got to be William Contreras' sparkly belts. Like, I think those have got to be the ones.
And with your son helping you pick out everything,
there's a lot of specialness that went in with that.
100%. I like that.
No, that's awesome. Ernie, you have any other questions before I move on to the next thing?
I think we covered everything that I was curious about myself. That kind of just came up naturally. I just think it's just such a cool story on how you got into this. It took one guy and it's kind of blown to this. And like Allan said, it's we talk about your stuff more than a lot of things in the 14 previous episodes. And it's, I
appreciate that. I really do appreciate it.
We're looking forward to getting some.
Yeah.
You guys send me those screenshots and we'll see what we can come up with. That'd be really cool to do an Uncrustable belt? I bet we could come up with something.
Hear that, Smuckers? And offer still on the table. I'll still get the tattoo.
Man, so there's a lot of kids that would. Oh yeah, a lot of kids would like that.
we have been doing this thing since episode 1 where it's the unsponsored Smucker's Uncrustable Break, which has now turned into a challenge of seeing who can eat Uncrustable the fastest. It's a dumb, silly thing, but we love it. Ernie is obviously on the top of the leaderboard here with 25 seconds. And now, with 6 kids in your house, are Uncrustables a popular item?
Dude, I never get to eat them because they all get eaten before I even get a chance.
You got to keep them stored in the office then.
I'm going to have to put them up higher, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I can only imagine how many you'd probably have to go through in a house with 6 kids.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're big fans as adults that, we're just grown children pretty much. But to end things this week, we're going to do a thing called 3 Up, 3 Down Trivia. And Ernie has chosen 3 questions based on players that have worn your belts.
Ooh,
so
probably not going to be very good at this, but we'll give it a go.
That's all right. So,
okay, so one of my favorite guys that you outfit, as well as Bruce Bolt, Ketel Marte, has appeared in games in how many positions in his career, and can you name them?
Dude, no. I mean, no. I mean, he plays second base. He's an infielder, isn't he? Does he play second base?
Yeah, so that's one of them.
Okay. I would assume DH if he's not feeling very good. I don't know if that's even a position. We talked about that.
Yeah.
Let's say I don't think outfield, so I'm going to say first base, and then that's it. I don't know.
Allan, you want to help him out? Any guess?
I think he has played outfield a couple times.
He was center field with the Mariners.
Yeah, so I think it was just the 3 positions, though, right?
Well,
he played third a little bit too.
He played 3 games at third base in 2017. That was the one I was hoping I was going to get you guys on.
You did.
But 4 for 5, that was good.
All right, next question is Jarren Duran question.
And here's one of our boys. In 2024, Jarren Duran led the majors in doubles and triples. These numbers were crazy. Any guesses on how many of each?
Doubles had to have been up there, right? Are we talking 40?
Are we?
I don't know.
I was gonna guess 30.
With this little angry lizard run.
Yeah, okay.
Matt gets the point there, because
okay.
it was 48. 48 doubles is crazy.
That's a lot. Okay, and triples,
12.
16.
Ooh, split the difference, 14.
Oh,
so
that's wild.
Yeah.
That's a lot of triples.
Man, the guy is crazy fast.
It's fast, yeah.
And it's just hilarious to watch him run. Because Angry Lizard is perfect.
Yeah, we try to put that lizard on most of the belts that we make.
I see that. I see those on the website. Those are good.
Yeah.
Okay, this one's pretty cool too. There's only one player who's won All-Star MVP, Rookie of the Year, Silver Slugger, Comeback Player of the Year, an MVP, and a World Series. Any idea who it is?
Oh, gosh.
That's a great career right there.
And he wears Pioneer.
Yeah.
I don't know the whole. I'm going to say Nolan Arenado, but I could be dead wrong there. I just feel like he's probably. I know he's been All-Star a whole bunch of times. I don't know if he's ever All-Star MVP.
Oh, I don't know if he's won the All-Star MVP. But not Arenado.
So it's not him.
I was going to guess Soto, but then he's not a comeback player, so he didn't have a season off.
Cody Bellinger.
Oh,
dude, I wouldn't have guessed that, but yeah I mean, it just got the MVP this year.
Yeah, and that's what clinched it. So again, like I said, great career numbers and awards and accolades right there.
Has Belly been in the league for that long?
Yeah, he was the Rookie of the Year. What would that have been? That would have been 2017.
Man. So again, other than the last couple of years since we've been making belts, I haven't really been following baseball much. So I mean, trivia was going to be a rough one.
Yeah, we like to throw a little game in the end there just to end on a little fun note.
Yeah.
But no, we really appreciate you taking the time. I know it's getting 9 there, so I guess it's getting late-ish if you were up pretty early to get started. So we thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. That was amazing.
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate this.
Yeah, and we'd love to have you back down the road sometime, and get a whole new whack of your favorites, because like I'd imagine they're constantly changing.
There's a lot of cool ones coming through right now for Players Weekend, so I'm excited to show them.
Ooh, because
forgot about that
next weekend, isn't it?
Next weekend, yeah.
Ooh.
All right, so where can everybody find you on social media?
I think across all platforms, it's at Pioneer_fit. You're gonna see the weightlifting side, and then it has all of our secondary pages: Pioneer Golf, Pioneer Belts. I think it's on TikTok, X, or Twitter, all the things.
Well, you can follow us on Instagram at the Big Hertz Cappy Hour. You can follow Ernie on Instagram at
TurnDog14.
You can follow me, the Big Herd Allan Jepsen, on Instagram. But we appreciate everybody tuning in, and we'll catch you at the next one. So, see you guys next week.
Matt, thanks again.
Thanks, guys.
We got a half for you next time you're up in BC.
Deal.